Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're interested in life coaching and mentoring, go to my website at skyazrael.com. It's bright and early. Daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. Had my birthday yesterday. Many of you guys wished me happy birthday on my Facebook or sent me emails, and thank you very much. I had a mellow day, ate lots of food. Today I want to talk about loss, the loss of love. I've talked about rejection, I've talked about abandonment, and I've talked about breakups. The loss of love is devastating, and I just feel like it's an interesting topic. Let's go into it and hash it out. The loss of love is similar in the brain when they do brain scans and get imaging of the how your brain fires electrically. Your brain has electrical circuits in there. The areas that light up when you are going through the grief of death. Someone that you is close to you dies and it upsets you. We've all been through that. That's the same. It's identical as going through the loss of love. I can't just say a breakup, because not all breakups are a loss of love. Some breakups are liberating. I've run away from breakups like you, woohoo! But I've also gone through some pretty devastating ones. And I can be honest that I've gone through a lot of death, a lot of grief around death, and I've been dumped a handful of times, dumped hard by women that I was in love with. And the loss of love scarred me deeper, and it lasted longer. It was harder to get over. That pain lasted longer than the grief around death, losing someone through death. I found that interesting about myself. And it's just true with most people. People commit suicide when they lose their loved ones. Addiction is common. When I was homeless, one of the main reasons why people became addicts. See, most people go homeless because they're drug addicts. Most people become drug addicts. You ready for this, guys? Most people become drug addicts because of failed relationships. It was 9 out of 10 motherfuckers on the street, and I would always talk to people about why they're out in the streets when I was homeless. Ask them, why are you homeless? 9 out of 10 people had the exact same story. Exact same story, and it didn't matter if they were 55 or 25. They broke up with their old lady, more like their old lady dumped them. They spiraled into addiction and went homeless. That's everybody's story. I want to talk about how to get over this stuff. What's the proper way to move on from the loss of love? I know what it's like to handle it in an improper way, for sure. I know what it's like to become a drug addict and an alcoholic and to spiral into self-destructive misery and to go homeless. I went homeless right after my fiance broke up with me. I went homeless right after. Became a drug addict, was in and out of jail. That year, I was in and out of jail 4 times that same year. My whole life trajectory had changed. And one of the reasons why it's so devastating, we have to understand this, is that, especially when you're young, losing love is different for young people than it is for older people. And a lot of people, myself included, go through major trauma around this when we're young and spend most of our adult lives trying to hash it out and understand it. One of the reasons why it's so devastating to go through loss when you're young, loss of love, is because it feels like your whole future is robbed from you. Your future, it crumbles. When I was with my fiance, we had an idea that we were going to be together. We had this picture of being together in the future and this life that we were going to create together, have a family and blah, blah, blah. Well, when she cheated on me and we broke up, that whole future, that little bubble just burst. That was devastating. Because now all of a sudden my whole life was changed. It wasn't going to work out the way I had wanted it to. I slipped into this depression of supposed to, the game of supposed to. My life was supposed to be this one way, and now it's not. It's all ruined. That was really hard to get over. And really hard for me to understand that maybe I could still have a positive future with somebody, or just be with somebody else. But, you know, when we're young, it's hard to think rationally, and if you don't have a good support system or mentors, that's why mentoring is so important. So in order to go through the loss of love properly, one of the first steps that any therapist will tell you, that they told me, is that you have to allow yourself to grieve. Now, I may talk about this differently than some of the psychiatrists talk to me about it. Allow yourself to grieve. But put a time limit on it and set that in stone. And maybe even if you have a support group, if you have people that really care for you, that are down for you 100%, you have some homeboys or a family member, somebody that is around, you're not just completely alone, somebody who's in your circle, tell them, look, I just got dumped, I just lost, Veronica just walked out on me, whatever. It really hurts. Check up on me in a week. If I'm still fucked up on Friday, come over here and slap me around. Snap me out of this shit. Don't let me wallow in misery for another week. I wish I had made that boundary for myself and really had made it, because when we make a pact, when we acknowledge, okay, I'm going to allow this to hurt for a week and then I'm going to move on, that gives us some motivation by the time Wednesday and Thursday roll around, that say, okay, well, Friday, Saturday's coming. I started this whole process of moping in misery on Monday or Sunday. I better start getting over it. I better start manning up, start toughening up. Get that inner Snoop Dogg. You know how Snoop Dogg, he has that pimp mentality, and he always talked about don't love these hoes and all that kind of misogyny. Get that shit going in your head. What would Snoop Dogg do? They say, what would Jesus do? When you're moping around and acting like a little sorry loser over a chick, and it really hurts, I know what it's like to cry over women. Ask yourself, not what would Jesus do? What would Snoop Dogg do? He wouldn't give a fuck. He'd be on the beach drinking those Mexican beers like he does those commercials for. Allow yourself to grieve, but don't allow yourself to grieve for long. So give it a week. Not a month, not a year. You don't need that long. You give yourself too long, you're looking into an abyss. Other way, which goes along the same lines, you allow yourself to grieve, but you want to acknowledge the breakup. You want to acknowledge the finality, that it's over. And a lot of guys don't do this. They think that there's still a cord connected. I'll still be able to go back with her. Maybe it'll happen again. Maybe me and my ex will get back together. It's over, brother. It's over. You got to move on. Otherwise, you end up a loser, a stalker. You end up like Kanye West or one of these motherfuckers. Just give it up. Move on. But acknowledging the breakup isn't just simply moving on. It also helps to have a little ritual. Go out with your buddies, have a guys' night out, and have that be the acknowledgement, and tell them, hey, we're going to have a guys' night out, and this is to acknowledge the breakup. We're going to celebrate this being over. I know it hurts. How can you celebrate something you just got destroyed? Run over and then backed up. This chick just destroyed you. I know it. Celebrate it. Trust me, it's going to help you. There's all kinds of fun ways you could celebrate a breakup. Anytime that you lose love, whether it's a family member, whether it's a loved one, like a lover, a wife or something, anytime you lose love, particularly if it's one-sided loss where the person is gone and you're just left there just like, what the fuck just happened? You have to go within. You have to. That stops some of the bitterness, anger, shame, and it'll keep you from going into depression. It'll build your confidence and your courage. You need to be able to go into damage mode, into recovery mode. And you need to care for yourself. Treat yourself like someone that you would care for. And don't just sit around and binge on snacks and watching TV as if that's caring for yourself. Don't just go and use an escape and say, I'm going to go and drink for a week and then snap out of this. No, treat yourself well. Eat health food. Work out. Nourish yourself. Mind, body, and soul. This is the time you want to go into monk mode. You have warrior mode and monk mode. Many times warrior mode is when we're out there going for our goals, goal acquisition, we're fighting battles. Go into monk mode. Study, pray, go within. And the final way, not in the video, there's many more ways. If you're interested in life coaching, we can talk about this for an hour. But the final way I want to talk about in here of getting over the loss of love is expanding your social circle. So it's not just enough to simply connect with others, because you can have friends possibly, and you can connect with them. That's good. Do that too. Reconnect with friends you haven't been talking to. Many times in relationships, we stop talking to people because we get so absorbed, and that's a flaw. You shouldn't, be a temporary friend. It's annoying when people do this and they get dumped or the relationship breaks up and they're right back around. And as soon as they meet somebody, they just disappear again. Don't do that to your friends. They'll get sick of you after a while. You keep doing that. So reconnect with others, but connect with new people. Find new circles. I've had problems with doing this after relationships. I want to self-isolate and just go into my little cocoon. You have to do the exact opposite of that. Exact opposite of what your instincts. Everything may tell you to go be alone. Don't. Go join a club. Go join a church. Go out and socialize. Get out of your comfort zone. Meet new people. Brand new people that you've never met before in your town. I know they exist. We can just stop it here. I have a lot more to say. I wrote a whole bunch of notes on this topic. I have a page of stuff to talk about, but let's just stop it here. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.